This is Chris Moody. I'm here with DJ Waldow for another 5 in 5 video series. So DJ, we'll start with a little domain expertise. What is the most common mistake marketers make with email?
Well, I think marketers make a lot of mistakes with email, not to sound pessimistic, but I would say the number one thing that people do is most people do a pretty good job of getting that permission and asking people if they want to be part of your newsletter, email communication, email program. What I think marketers fail at for the most part is living up to that promise. So, the key to any well-executed email campaign is setting proper expectations up front. For example, we're going to send a weekly communication or a monthly. Here's what it's going to look like. Here's the type of content it's going to have. And I think often a lot of people forget, they set that up front, but then they start sending them all sorts of other things that are possibly not as relevant. And then, as you know, when you lose relevance, people start to either ignore your message, delete it, or worst case scenario, mark your message as spam.
Right. Okay, cool. So no spam. Question 2, what's the most valuable piece of marketing advice you've ever been given?
I think the best advice I've had, especially recently, was from Chris Penn, who happens to also work at Blue Sky Factory and be my boss. Chris wrote this great post about something along the lines of what you do is not cool, what your company does is not cool. So you can't say that we've got a really cool product or cool company or awesome service. Your consumers and fans and prospects and the marketplace judges whether or not you are cool. So I think in general, remember that when you're creating product and services, you're doing it for the community or you're doing it for your clients or prospects. You're not doing it for you. Of course, you think your stuff is great, but what really matters is what other people think.
Awesome. Question number 3. How has social media changed the way you do business?
I think the biggest change with social media and the tools is just the accessibility. So in other words, I've got my iPhone and it's a terrible habit, but I've got it with me all the time. So it becomes very easy to look and see if people are talking about our company on Twitter or go to our Facebook page and see what's happening there. So it's kind of this always on thing. And one of the things I'm finding is that on a personal level, it's really important to start to set some boundaries so that you're not on 24/7. For a large organization, it's important to continue to monitor what's going on. But we're also human. I think we need to, in order to be able to respond effectively, we've also got to get some sleep once in a while.
Right. That's what Scott Stratton said, schedule time off, which is something I thought was really helpful too. All right, question number 4. What does social media mean to you?
There's been a lot of talk about people, the whole term social media and removing the media from the term, from the phrase social media and just having it be social. Because I think that's, well, although Jay Baer wrote a post today too, that would probably counter that a little bit. But I think, for me, it's what social media allows companies to do is to put a face and put a human behind this big corporate wall. We've got a lot of classic examples out there. I mean, I can said something about Comcast today, and within seconds somebody will respond. The same thing with a lot of other folks that are using social media, but it makes it more human. I mean, I think people use social media a lot to do one of two things, one of two extremes: either complain about how terrible something is, or they say how great something is. And there's usually not a lot of in between unless you're talking about what you ate for lunch and then nobody cares. So to me, it's about, can you respond? Are you responding to those conversations, and how are you interacting with people to portray more of a human voice?
Okay, cool. And we have about 20 or 30 seconds for this one. Number 5, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I want to be a baseball player for the Kansas City Royals. I grew up in upstate New York, and when I was 10 years old, the Royals won the World Series in 1985. Actually, I was 11. I've been a huge George Brett fan my whole life, and I wanted to play for the Royals. It wasn't until I got cut from the freshman team that I realized it probably wasn't going to happen. Although Michael Jordan, I think, also got cut from his freshman basketball team. So there was a chance, but it never worked out.
All right. Well, there you have it, professional baseball player. Thanks for your time, DJ.